how do you have a conversation about anti-Semitism where you are able to divide between the real and imminent concerns of anti-Semitism with the accusations of anti-Semitism that are used by some people to silence voices such as yourself that want to talk about Israel?
We're seeing a kind of unprecedented escalation, obviously, in this attempt to kind of cancel pro-Palestinian voices, to smear people, to get people fired from their jobs, to have events canceled, all under the guise of fighting anti-Semitism. In the U.S., we're seeing how that attempt has found a very deep partnership with this broader far-right movement that wants to, ban the teaching of critical race theory in
immigration
America. I mean, it's this far-right agenda that wants to, shut down universities as a site of learning, not just because of Israel-Palestine, but because they don't want American universities to be teaching about the history of racism in our own country. And this is also something that's not just in the U.S., right? This is something happening around the world, that we're seeing the way that these pro-Israel groups are finding partners with these very authoritarian and reactionary movements. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really dangerous to Jewish people for us to be used as cover, right, for these like repressive authoritarian movements. And also, that Jews, right now, it's also important for me to say that like the reason that the U.S. is so deeply supporting Israel's campaign in Gaza is actually not about Jewish safety, right? It's about U.S. imperial interests in the region. It's about, the interests of weapons companies. It's about the Christian Zionist lobby in America that has their own, which is actually the largest pro-Israel lobby in America, right? Which has their own interests in supporting a, very right-wing Islamophobic nationalist foreign policy. And none of those things are actually about Jews and about keeping Jews safe. But once again, when we are used as the cover for those things, that fuels anti-Semitism. And I think in this moment in which people are feeling such a deep hopelessness about the possibility of getting accountability from our governments, I mean, the fact that you have, majorities in this country, in the U.S., that support a ceasefire, and the fact that our politicians aren't willing to do anything about it and aren't listening, it does give fuel to people who then start to wonder, why is it that our governments aren't listening to people? Maybe there's some other nefarious group that's controlling the government behind the scenes that fuels anti-Semitism, and that endangers Jews.